Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, your number one source for income-oriented investing, and it is time for another portfolio unveiled video. I know it's your favorite video, so welcome. In case you're new here, my name is Adrian, and this channel is all about income-oriented investing. So this is a monthly video where I unveil my entire portfolio from A to Z. With the values, the whole breakdown, the whole shebang. So what you are looking at right now is the combination of all 6 of my investing accounts put together with PASSIV, which is the portfolio management tool that I use. And by the way, they are a good friend and sponsor of this portfolio unveiled video, so I'd like to thank them for being a good friend of the channel. So in case you guys don't have PASSIV, I strongly suggest you download it. There is a 100% free version, which is the community user version at $0 a month. It's free forever. You can connect it to your brokers, not all brokers, but most brokers. And if you're interested in the elite membership, which you gain additional features, and by the way, the elite membership is free if you use Questrade like myself, but in case you want to try it out, I do have a 50% off affiliate link in the video description below, so you could try it out for basically $50 for the whole year. And if you don't like it, you could always downgrade back to the free version. I strongly suggest to at least try the free version, guys. So once again, thank you to PASSIV for sponsoring this video. So what will I show you? As usual, guys, we'll quickly go through the total amounts here, which is right in front of your face basically. So I did finally hit a milestone of $1.5 million total value. This is in Canadian, by the way. So it is translated to Canadian dollars. And as you know, in case you didn't know, you're newer, I really consider myself to have 2 separate entities. My main portfolio, which you'll see right here, which is the combination of my TFSA, my wife's TFSA, and our joint non-registered cash account. Everything's in Questrade, by the way. I use Questrade. And then the second entity is the retirement accounts, which is a combination of my RSP, my wife's RSP, and my small Lyra. So the retirement accounts make up about approximately 38% of this total value, and the main portfolio makes up about 62%, give or take. So yes, the amount is much bigger than last month, but because the stock market has done really well in the last month. April, not so great. May, it's done really, really well. And by the way, I am filming this while the stock market is open on May the 22nd, and it started off as a pretty good day, by the way. Now it looks like the market's going down and down. Just 10 minutes ago, this was at 1.525, so it went down $3,000. And if I refresh it here, just so you could see that I'm actually doing this live while the market's open, the amount should change. There you go, it changed a little bit. So 1.522 million Canadian dollars. I'm super happy about this really nice milestone, right? 1.5, over 1.5 now. So what we'll do now, guys, is break down in Excel sheets the portfolios, right? Because it's kind of hard to see here in PASSIV. The book prices are not right. Because of my transfer that I did long ago from TD to Questrade, but that's a different story that I don't want to get into. So I will show you now my portfolio. We'll start with the retirement accounts first, and then we'll do the main portfolio in Excel. And by the way, you could download the Excel sheet that I'm about to show you for free on my website, passiveincomeinvesting.ca. Just go to my website, click on right here, free tools, and the very first download will be the Excel sheet, which I'm about to show you. So in case it's too small, make sure to download it. Just click on this red download button here, and you'll be able to see this. All right, here's the retirement accounts, guys. So again, this is download the sheet if you can't see it, if it's too small. Quite a bit of changes in my RSP and Erica's RSP as well. Well, you know, 2 changes basically, because I'm running out of changes to do anyway, right? So let's go to the RSP tracker tab here, which you'll be able to access as well. So in Erica's account, I swapped out my JEPY for SPY-T. And in doing so, I made a $12,000 profit, on JEPY, on JEPY. So my $100,000 investment into JEPY became $112,000, and I swapped that into SPY-T, as you could see right here now. So why did I do this? Well, it's simple. SPY-T is also, just like JEPY, a S&P 500 income ETF. And it's also from Defiance. It's also monthly income, but the strategy is different. And I feel the main reason I did it is that SPY-T's strategy is superior than JEPY. Yes, it has less yield. It's actually a target income type of product, and it's always targeting 20% yield a year. But the main difference between the two, it's still S&P 500, they still use options, it's still a daily option strategy, but it captures more upside when the S&P 500 goes up than JPY. I repeat, that is the biggest difference. SPY-T will capture more upside if the S&P 500 goes up than JEPY. Less income, but more upside, but still very, very nice yield of 20%. So yes, that made my yield go down technically, but remember, these accounts are all on drip, right? So it's not really going to make much difference to me technically, because I'm not living off of this yet, right? It's all on drip. So stay tuned because the third part of my Q&A with Jay, part 1 and part 2 is already released. Part 3, we're going to talk about SPY-T in detail, guys, which I feel is a really, really cool ETF, which has a genius. I think the strategy is just genius. And I believe there's also filings for QQQT, which is the NASDAQ version of SPY-T, and also Russell one. So I'm very excited about that. Of course, you're thinking, am I going to swap my QQQY into QQQT when it comes out? And I think I probably will do that as well. So that is basically the big move I did in Erica's account here. So now my SPY-T, I'll just go back to passive here so you can see the value. So the value of SPY-T together, this is with the drips, JPY to SPY-T. It's still S&P 500. I still consider it an S&P 500 position here. The value is $114,000. So I will just keep this like this here. It's still my S&P 500 core equity ETF. I put in $100,000 initially. It was JPY. Now it's SPY-T. And the investment itself is now worth $114,000. So that's what I did for Erica's RSP. In my RSP, I also did a pretty significant move. I swapped my SVOL and Maxi for YMAX. Considering the initial investment in SVOL and Maxi, I actually made an $18,000 profit. Most of the profit came from Maxi because Bitcoin just exploded. If I remember correctly, I put in about $14,000 in Maxi, and it just got way more than that. I think about maybe $15,000 of this profit was from Maxi. So I've been trying to figure out, guys, where to put Maxi in my RSPs. Do I put in Erica's RSP? Do I put in my RSP? My initial plan was to actually swap Riv and RA into YMAX, but then I decided it makes more sense to do that in my RSP because YMAX actually has, and by the way, in case you don't know, YMAX is the Yield Max all-in-one ETF. So every time, not all of them, but most of all the single Yield Max ETFs, they're all combined in YMAX. So this is kind of like a Yield Max all-in-one, which is fantastic. And why I decided to swap my Maxi and SVOL into it for the Maxi portion, which is Bitcoin, is because YMAX actually has quite a bit of Bitcoin or crypto exposure, right? It has the Coinbase stock in there. It has the MicroStrategy stock in there. MicroStrategy is kind of like a side Bitcoin play if you want. It also has, they just came out with the Bitcoin Yield Max ETF, which is going to be added in YMAX. It has Block in there, and Block, what's his name? Dorsey's company, right? Jack Dorsey's company. They just announced that every month they're going to be buying Bitcoin as part of their company profits, right? So there's a lot of little Bitcoin plays inside YMAX. So I decided it makes sense. Let's put it in my RSP. So my two positions here, I think my RSP is mainly complete here. It's very nice. My goal is to have two positions in mine, two positions in Erica. So QQQY, right? $120,000 initial investment. This is the Defiance NASDAQ 100 enhanced options income ETF. I might swap it to QQQT when it comes out, but it's still a NASDAQ 100 core position here. And by the way, the value of QQQY, how much did I put into it? 120, right? I put in $120,000 at the beginning when QQQY first came out. And now my investment is worth $135,000. So I'm actually up $15,000 on my QQQY investment, even though the stock price is going down. How do you figure, guys, right? In case you haven't figured it out, it's the dividends, right? I got QQQY on drip. So it's all about the value of your investment, guys. It's not about the stock chart. I repeat, I invested $120,000 in QQQY. It's all on drip. With the drip effect, the compound interest effect, the value of my investment is $15,500 more than my initial investment. So I'm very pleased with my QQQY investment. Even YMAX went up a bit. I mean, I put in a little over 60,000 in it. I know I put 60,000 in it here. I marked 60,000. It was more like 60,400 or something like that, but it's already up. So I'm very, very happy with the performance of YMAX. So both of these are on drip. I'm going to let them rip and we'll see what happens. Same thing for Erica's RSP. Now, I know what you're probably going to asking, okay, you got rid of Maxi into YMAX, but why SVOL? Why SVOL? I absolutely love SVOL guys as well. So what I decided to do is when RIV and RA, their combined value becomes 50,000, which I'm about $4,000 away. It's only a matter of if, not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when, because they're just dripping away as well. So when the combination of RIV and RA reaches $50,000, I will swap it into SVOL. So I will have SVOL and SPY-T as the two main positions in Erica's RSP, and QQQY and YMAX in my RSP just dripping away. So right now I have a $25,000 investment in SVOL, which is now worth almost $30,000, right? You see that here. Alternative income position, which is basically SVOL. I color coded it. I put 25 grand. So it's going to be 100 grand in the S&P 500 initial investment, which used to be JPY. Now it's SPY-T. And then 75,000 into SVOL, all on drip. Once RIV and RA reaches 50K, I'm going to put that in SVOL. So essentially, you're going to have SPY-T and SVOL in Erica's RSP, QQQY and YMAX in my RSP, all on drip. I think that's really nice. I'm very happy and comfortable with that. I feel that I really have the best of the best when it comes to the US stock market. And when QQQT comes out, maybe I'll swap QQQY into it. We'll have to see. I'm leaning towards yes, but don't forget there's also a leveraged version of JetQ coming out, which could also be interesting as well. But I really will, it's always going to be basically a NASDAQ 100 type of fund. So I will just keep this 120 here, but I'm open to swapping to the one with the best strategy, the one that I feel has the best strategy. And right now for the S&P, it's SPY-T. For NASDAQ, it's QQQY and probably QQQT when it comes out, and maybe the leverage JetQ when that comes out. Anyway, moving on to my Lira, which is just Bitcoin. It's just Maxi. It's doing really, really well, obviously, because Bitcoin has done really well in the last couple of weeks. So I had put in initially 33 grand. Now it's worth 51 grand. It's very easy to track, right? Because it's my only position and it's on drip as well. So in terms of values, guys, obviously doing really well. I'm tracking the values every month. So you see a big jump from April to May, obviously because April was crappy and May was great. So 257K to 269. My wife's Erica's account here, it's 250 in April to 260. And this one here I don't really track because I don't feel like it. I'm too lazy. So you see the numbers here. So yeah, doing really well. And in case you're asking, I simply get the numbers from PASSIV here, right? This gives you the total in Canadian dollars. So that is it for the retirement accounts. Let me know if you have any questions. I think my plan is fairly clear of what's going to happen, right? 2 positions in mine, 2 positions in Erica, and the Lira will always just stay Bitcoin on drip. It's, half of it I got from was matched. So my Lira basically comes from my Air Canada, my little Air Canada pension plan payout that I had. I just decided, you know what, let's go for broke, all in on Bitcoin. And it obviously turned out to be really, really well, but you got to expect a lot of volatility. Remember, these accounts are on drip. These are long-term accounts, right? So let's move on to the main portfolio now. All right, guys, the main portfolio, which is a combination of our 2 TFSAs and joint cash account. This is technically the portfolio that we live off of, right? There's no drips turned on here, basically. So in case you're new to the channel, I know this Excel sheet might be very, very confusing. First of all, if it's too small, again, you could download it here. That is the first reminder. Second reminder is that I have a video. Here's the video. Portfolio management, my portfolio 2024 update, structure, tracking, taxes. So in this particular video, I go over the, what this Excel means. I break down everything here so it will not confuse you if you watch that video. It's quite a boring video, I know, but that explains everything I had to do for my portfolio when it comes to tracking, how I built the Excel sheet, taxes. I talk about everything. I can't go into that every single month with the Unveiled. I'm trying to focus on the monthly video on the updates or any changes that I've made and the updated numbers. All right, and the third reminder is that if you're interested in tracking my portfolio, you want to follow my portfolio, download Blossom, the Blossom app, guys. I'm on there, And my portfolio is there too, so you could actually track my main portfolio on a daily basis to see what it's doing. So again, Blossom is a great social investing app where everyone could share their portfolio. I am an ambassador for that app, so download it. You have the link in the video description below, guys. It's free. Just use my link, download it. It's a great application, mobile app. And make sure to follow me. You'll see me there. It's Adrian PII. You'll find me fairly quickly there. So let's go with the changes, because there's actually quite a significant swap also in the main portfolio. So there's quite a few big swaps, important streamlining swaps in both the retirement and the main portfolio here. So if you go to the main portfolio tracker tool here, you could see what I did every single month. So I'm very open and honest. You could see all my moves, guys, every single thing that I do in May, and if I realize any capital gains or losses. So the big swap in May was I swapped my HDIV position for a bunch of other things. I did make this was a $110,000 initial investment. I did make a capital loss. This is not including the income. It's just the capital loss of $4,150 on it. But I went back and tried to track all the, how much did HDIV pay me? It's all the years that I've kept it, that I've had it, and my estimate is between $16,000 and $18,000. So it's really $16,000 to $18,000 minus $4,150 a capital loss. So it's definitely a net positive for HDIV of about $12,000, $13,000, something like that. So of course you're going to be asking why in God's green earth did you get rid of HDIV? Well, the main reason, and you probably guessed it in case you've been following what I've been planning to do with the tax efficiency, it's because HDIV it's not as tax efficient as some other funds for me, because I am a non-resident of Canada for tax purposes. The main problem really, and this is, it's a problem for me. It's probably not a problem for you if you're a Canadian resident. It's this ETF here, the Canadian ETF. So HDIV has a bunch of harvest ETFs, and one of them is the Canadian Equity Income Leaders. That one generates eligible dividends. And as a non-resident of Canada, unfortunately, HDIV is entirely in my non-registered account. It's not in my TFSA at all. So taxes do matter basically in a non-registered. And as a non-resident of Canada, as I've explained in several other videos, what I really want is capital gains and ROC only. I don't want any Canadian eligible dividends because I don't get that 25% withholding tax back on that portion. So that's really why I did it. That's the main reason. Also, HDIV has a lot of overlap with a lot of the other funds that I own and that I swapped into, which you'll see that it makes sense, and that have pretty much no Canadian eligible dividends. So it just made sense to me, but I want you to understand that there's absolutely nothing wrong with HDIV. It might be the opposite for you if you hold it in a non-registered account, because if you're in a lower tax bracket, eligible dividends is actually very, very tax efficient. So what did I swap my HDIV for? Well, I swapped a little into, actually quite a bit, about 40,000 into GDV, because GDV, number one, it's very tax efficient. It's just capital gains and ROC, which is what I like. And also GDV is trading at a small discount, which is absolutely incredible. So I did put a lot in GDV, and then the rest between USCL and QQCL, which are essentially, which are essentially S&P 500, NASDAQ 100 covered call ETFs from Global X. Focus on the American stock market, which means no eligible dividends. So that is what I swapped my HDIV into. And by doing so, yes, I took a 4150 loss, but obviously that's just the capital. The net, I did a net profit of about 12 to 13,000 on it if you count the income. But my monthly income jumped about $300 a month, guys, by doing that swap, because all three ETFs that I swapped it into, they have higher yields and have higher income than HDIV right now. Of course, watch what happens, guys. I sold it. I swapped it. Guess what? Imagine HDIV raises their dividend. That's going to be just the bad luck that I have. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I was very, very sad to see it go, because I love Harvest products. I just wish that freaking Canadian ETF was not inside of it. These are just more tax efficient for me as a non-resident of Canada. In case you didn't, you don't know what I'm talking about, check out a video where I explain the tax my tax situation in Panama, etc., as a non-resident. So that is the main thing I did in May. So it was quite a big, nice streamline. I also trimmed a little. I just did this one yesterday, actually, on the 21st, or was it the 20th? Anyway, the day that Ethereum popped 20%, I did a tiny trim of Ethereum, my Ethereum position. So I went from 30,000 to 25,000, and I'm very comfortable at 25K. I got 50K in BTCY in my Bitcoin, now 25K in Ethereum. I think this proportion makes a lot of sense now. Ethereum is the smallest position in my portfolio. I consider it probably the highest risk one as well, but I'm very comfortable with 2.6% on Ethereum. And for me, it was a no-brainer. Even though I had to take a small loss, I think it was worth it. So I just trimmed ETHY by about $5,000, 30 to 25K. I just bought more QQCL with it. As well. So what did I buy this month, including with the money I swapped? Most of it went in QQCL, which I absolutely love, the NASDAQ 100 index, in case you haven't noticed. Did put 30K in USCL, which is S&P 500, a big chunk in GDV, 40K, and a little bit more in RS. So you could see that my US position increased from 100,000 to 130, which I want to get to 150 and eventually. I want to have 150 in HYLD, 150 in USCL, which is essentially, they're both S&P 500 type of positions, right? HYLD is, collection of Hamilton covered call ETFs, but it's really a concentrated version of the S&P 500. USCL is actually the S&P 500. QQCL, which I'm now at 105, cracked 100,000 on it, is the very technology-focused NASDAQ 100 index. Probably have to be my favorite index of all time, guys. NASDAQ 100, S&P 500. And now I have a very nice $100,000, a little bit more than that, into GDV. And with the purchase of it, I managed to get my book price to a very OCD pleasant $10 on the nose, which means 12% yield on the nose as well. So I'm very happy about that. I absolutely love GDV. In my opinion, it is the best split share fund of all time, because it's basically a split share fund that holds 40 plus of the top global dividend growth stocks. This is a great fund if you really like dividend stocks. You want to get dividend stocks all around the world with one ETF with leverage. GDV is absolutely fantastic, and it's actually trading at a very, very small discount right now, which I haven't seen ever, guys, in over 5 years. Right, the net asset value is 1019. It's worth 1019 per share, but the stock price is 991. It's trading at a discount. A fantastic split share fund trading at a discount. Super, super rare. I couldn't pass it up, so I did put 40K from the HDIV sale into GDV. The rest in USCL. QQCL. So RS, I did buy a little bit more. My position has reached 140,000, which is absolutely enormous. But you guys already know the plan. That I am planning on selling my RS and FTN. They're both going up and up, creeping up there. I'm not broken even on them. So I obviously in an ideal world, I'm going to wait till I break even. And I'm talking in terms of capital when I say break even on them, but I don't even mind taking a small capital loss. And again, I'm getting rid of RS and FTN, or my plan to, because of the non-resident. These are not tax efficient for me at all. FTN, because it generates all eligible dividends, which I don't want. And RS, because it's considered real estate, there's a stupid little exception where you don't get the ROC and capital gains back on the 25% withholding tax if the fund is a real estate fund or an energy fund like ENCL. But luckily for me, ENCL is all in my TFSA, so there's no problem. So in case you're lost, you don't know what I'm talking about, as a non-resident of Canada, guys, relating to my non-registered account only, not the TFSA, I pay 25% withholding tax on all the dividends that come in, no matter what. So the dividend comes in, if I get a $100 dividend from my non-registered, no matter what fund it's from, I get $75. The Quest rate withholds 25%. Then at the end of the year, once the breakdown is known, okay, how much of the dividend last year was ROC and capital gains and eligible dividends, I'm supposed to get refunded everything that's ROC and capital gains from that 25% withholding tax. So this is why I only want I want primarily things that generate only ROC and capital gains in my non-registered account. So that's basically the story. So yeah, my RS, my book price, I got it down to $14.25. Now it's at about a little over $12, so it's getting there. FTN doing really well. It's at $8.50, so I'm very close to $9.04. So we'll see what happens. So that is basically the major thing that I did. Oh yeah, and ETHY, right? The Ether trimmed down to 50,000. So Look at this, guys. I'm almost broken even. I can't believe it. And you could see that my yield is absolutely enormous now, just past 13.5%, which is incredible. So this is total invested is how much money that I put in, how much money my book cost basically. And what is my current portfolio value? 945,000. You see how close it's getting. And this is unrealized, right? This is in case if I sell everything off, I will lose just in terms of capital 1.41%, but this doesn't include all the income, which I include in on this side here. So I just want to show you in passive here. Go to the main portfolio, refresh. Just I want to make sure you guys see it here live. Oh, it went down a little bit. So right now, it's still spinning. It's still spinning here. Anyway, I'll come back to it, but this was about 5 minutes ago. Great, something went wrong. All right. So it's about 944, 945. So that is basically where I get that number. So here are, I updated my sheet with the main objectives of my portfolio. You could check out here, guys. So it's my objective number one, most important thing is to maximize my monthly income and tax efficiency. Stay diversified with my main exposure being in U.S. stocks and indexes. Reinvest overall at least $5,000 a month. That's a goal of mine. And not to have more than 10% exposure in crypto. Right now, it's 7.85%, so I'm good. So yeah, that's it for the main portfolio. So another more streamlining changes. I am down to now, let's see, how many funds do I have total here? 11. When and if I get, when I get rid of FTN and RS, it's going to be down to 9. So yeah, nice little portfolio, getting more and more concentrated and definitely more skewed towards US indexes and equities up here, right, which are these ones. So, and I do expect that most of RS and FTN is going to be swapped into these 4 as well. So, I think throughout time, I'm getting less sector specific and more diversified. Remember, it's important for me to really have stability here because this is technically what I need to live off of. And that's basically it, right? So I'm not saying I use all the income, right? But it's just basically I want to make sure that, let's say all my other sources of income stop and all I have is my passive income for my portfolio. I want to make sure that this is very stable and I could use this for all my living expenses. So again, you could download the sheet here. There's more columns, which you'll see, there's all kinds of other columns in here, guys, which show how, total number of shares, but how many shares are in my TFSA versus the non-registered account. What is the 25% monthly withholding tax that I pay, the expected refund, which is basically an estimate of how much the dividend is going to be, capital gains in ROC, which I'm expected to get back, etc., etc., etc. And again, this sheet in detail, guys, is it's all discussed in this video, this portfolio management video, which is very important. So it's back to 945. There you go, guys. So there's the number. That's how I get this number, basically. Really, really cool. So let's go through the totals, guys. My average yield is 13.51%. My annual income is a little over 129,000, which is 10,000, almost 10,800. This is gross, guys. So this is without including the 25% withholding tax on my dividends in my non-registered account. I pay about a little over $2,000 a month on that 25% withholding tax, but I'm expected right now currently to get at least $1,483 of that back, but that is going to increase tremendously once RS and FTN are gone. I do expect to get over 90% of the monthly tax back, which is phenomenal. So right now the net is 10,241, which is basically this number here, the gross, minus the tax, plus what I'm expected to get back. So over $10,000 a month net, all in Canadian dollars. And here you could see the breakdown. How much of this 10,241 is coming from the TFSAs versus the cash account. So total, guys, I have a total lifetime total return, which is unrealized, of 47.54%. What does this mean here? If I sell everything, my whole portfolio tomorrow, my total lifetime return will be 47.54%. It's the capital plus all the income that I got. You see here the income so far, $344,000 of income. Capital gains realized, $124,000. And total profit, which is simply these two numbers together, is $469,000. Somehow I feel this number is not right. I got to recalculate it. But basically, if you just scroll left, you see the breakdown here of all of them. Yeah, I did update it, so that's odd. Well, maybe it is right. Maybe it is $124,000. Anyway, so yeah, if we look at 2024 so far, I realized capital losses of 10,229. That just comes from all these moves, all these streamlining moves that I made. But the income so far that I made is almost $50,000. So, okay, that's where the problem is here. This is supposed to be minus. Anyway, I'll fix that for next time for sure. I don't know what the problem is there. I think I have a bad Excel formula in there. The profit should be this minus this. Okay, that's why this is positive here. So this is supposed to be minus. There we go. That's the problem. I just have to put minus. There we go. There we go. That's good. That fixed it. So yeah, 104. So now it's updated. So sorry about that. I fixed the formula. It'll be right in the next sheet. So yeah, there's my total numbers, guys. So again, let me just go through the portfolio totals here. And again, I explain this in detail. I don't want to do this in this video every time. I explain it in detail in here. So check it out. But basically, I am definitely up. I have a lifetime total return so far of over 45%. So that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, you can download the sheet and check it out for yourself. All these are hyperlinks. And again, check out those videos. And don't forget to follow me on Blossom, guys. You could follow my portfolio live every day. And we're going to do this again next month, so see you next time. Hey, don't go yet. A few reminders before you leave. Did you know that I launched a YouTube loyalty membership program where for only $3 a month, you could become a PII Inner Circle member where you will gain access to exclusive content, exclusive videos and live streams, as well as other perks and benefits, including a really cool weekly opportunity report. That's right. If you're interested, just click on the little join button next to the subscribe button to see what it's all about. Also, make sure to follow me on Blossom and download Blossom. It's a social investing app, which is really cool. You could share your portfolio, follow other people's portfolios, including my own. My username is Adrian_PII. So download it with the referral link below. Not only is it free, but you could actually earn cash by taking these really small, quick 1-minute courses. Really awesome. It's a no-brainer. Also, make sure to visit our website, passiveincomeinvesting.ca. That's where you could book a one-on-one private coaching session with yours truly, with myself, where you could ask me all the questions you want. All the information and booking information is on the website. Make sure to check out that video on the homepage there to see how to book a one-on-one properly. Also on my website, you could purchase my digital product, which I'm very proud of, the ultimate DIY investing package. This is a reference tool or a companion tool that will help you build your own portfolio. So it has lists of funds, it has sample portfolios, and it covers both the Canadian and U.S. stock markets. And the good news is you'll only ever have to buy it once because it comes with free lifetime updates. And my plan is really to update the version every single year. So make sure to pick it up. Also, I have Questrade and PASSIV referral links below. So Questrade is the broker that I personally use, and PASSIV is the broker companion tool or assistant that I use. Really cool program, really cool software. So I have referral links for both of those. Questrade, $50 of free trades. And PASSIV, I have half off for the elite membership. If you're interested in the elite membership, and even if you want to start out with the free membership and upgrade to the elite afterwards, use my referral code so you could still get that 50% off. And don't forget that the elite membership of PASSIV is 100% free if you use Questrade. For social media, we have a very successful and big Facebook group, private Facebook group with over 14,000 members where we all try to help each other out. So make sure to join that group. Information is below. We also have Instagram where you could follow us or more personal stuff when it comes to our life here in Panama. And there's LinkedIn as well. So as usual, everyone, how do I leave you? Continue to stay safe, stay healthy, and of course, stay passive. See you next time.